Hi, our topic for this week is media and globalization. In this section, you are expected to analyze how different forms of media drive various manifestations of global integration, and to explain the dynamics between local and global cultural production. Right, so let's begin. What is culture? Culture refers to the unified style of human knowledge, beliefs, and behavior from which people learn, and the ability to communicate knowledge to the next generations. So this is actually it's the development of culture. It has been mainly influenced by media. So unsa man ang culture nato? So it has something to do with the language that we use, the traditions, no, kada mga festivities nga itong ginahimo, celebrations, our art, the norms, the values that we have. So that those are that's what we call culture, right? And then media is the means of communication, how we are able to communicate our language, our traditions, our art, our norms, our values, our music, our dances, etc. So, and media has underwent changes or development. So there are five stages of the history of media. One is oral communication, then script, printing press, electronic media, and digital media. Okay, so when we say oral communication, the first step or the first stage is the language was the tool to communicate and share information. So there was no other way to communicate information but through oral communication or through the use of language. So very limited ang reach sa oral on the oral stage, because mostly ang interaction is between katribo, within the tribe, within your group of people, within your community only, no? Kay pag nag-share ka o nag-store ka og information, dili siya kanang pareho sa written nga precise gyud nga the same gihapon siya mapasa. Not unless other cultures actually or other group of peoples before, ang ilang culture, ang ilang tradition or mga information, history is actually being carried to the next generation through songs. Nagibutang nila sa kanta, like for example, mga dula, tula, mga na diha nila gibutang i-repeat, memorize siya and gipasa from one generation to the other generation. So yung ang that stage, oral communication. Then eventually nag-evolve, and media enters into the second stage, which is a script. So in this stage, script allowed people to communicate over a larger space and for much longer duration. So unlike sa oral, shorter duration na siya, kay malimtan siya or mamatay ang katong naihawak sa information, dili na siya mapasa. But in the script, it is written. So therefore, it already allows longer duration to keep, unless mawala, masunog ang gisulatan sa information. So shorter na siya, pero pag dili mas longer na siya and larger space, because katong gisuwatan mapasa-pasa naman siya, madala na siya sa mga lagyong lugar, right? Nga dili siya malimtan because it's already written. So eventually nagdevelop na pod, and then we enter into the printing press stage. So the printing press allowed the continuous production, reproduction, and circulation of print materials. Right? So, mo na nitong mga written documents that were mass-produced. This period of media development affected globalization by transforming different institutions such as schools, markets, businesses, churches, governments, and even the military. Right? So, because nakapag mass produce naman ta. Information is already written and mass produced and circulated. Okay, so then we move to the next phase, which is the electronic media. So, pag electronic media na diri ang telephone, o nag-una sa telegraph. So, nag-una sa telegraph, and then, after telegraph, telephone, tas nanay TV, nanay radio, nanay film. So, mas broader pag yun ang reach sa information. No? Before, radio was actually used to advertise products, and television was primarily used for the speeches of the President of the United States or the United Nations meetings. So, mo na primarily used niya. Eventually, na-develop na advertising na, entertainment na, etc. hangtod sa karon nga time. And then, here comes the digital media age. So, sa digital media age, mo na natong gamit karon na using codes na it can be created and stored in any digital electronic devices, and it is transmitted over the internet and computer networks. So, digital media is used in politics and in economics. In politics, it's used to advance their campaign, their platforms. And in economics, it allows the advertisement of products and online businesses transactions. So, muna siya. So, with this development, what happens to the culture? So, on culture, there are actually three theories no nga nahitabo sa culture. So una is the cultural differentialism. So the cultural differentialism meaning cultural differences are as immutable, na differentiate ang mga culture, especially the Western culture and the like Islam. So Western versus Islam, na highlight ang difference nila. Right? Another concept that was created because of the development is the cultural convergence. So, naapoy na nabuo nga cultural convergence, meaning the culture of one group to another group, culture of one country to another country, has grown in murag nahimo na siyang the same, no? Because as each one has like na-influence siya, ni-adapt siya, so there's a growing sameness of culture, and that is what we call cultural convergence. The third one is cultural hybridity. So there's already a hybrid culture. Globalization spawns an increasing and ongoing mixing of culture. So there's an ongoing mixing. One of the reason for that is media, and also the reason for that is the movement of people. So people move from one place to another. Media has reached a wider range, so therefore there's already a mixing, a continuous mixing of culture. Okay, so in this these outcomes of the media, it set the dynamics between local and global cultural production. So here comes the globalization, which is actually na form siya from the word globalization and localization, which is a new concept, and which is also brought about by the increased frequency of contact among cultures. So this globalization reinforces the fact that local cultures are not weak. It's not static or it's not fixed, but it continuously develops. It is built and it is understood. It is understood anew, meaning na in every passing day, ang atong culture is understood in a different perspective. So nag-evolve siya, dili siya constant, dili siya weak, dili siya static. Okay, so local cultures continue to accommodate and assimilate cultures of the world due to globalization, right? So all in all, the 5 stages of development of media have greatly influenced the globalization of culture. From the pamphlets to the Instagram, gikan ta sa by word of mouth to printed na naghimong pamphlet, naghimong newspaper, karon na Instagram, na Twitter, na Snapchat, Facebook, unsa pa man diha ang social media that we use in order to connect and communicate with people. So moreover, the increase in cultural interactions generated by media results in outcomes that exhibit the vigor of local cultures influenced by the global culture. So mas na ang atong local culture, since we are open, because of the development of media, we are open to a wider perspective. We are introduced to the global culture, so therefore our culture evolved, and it continuously evolve and adapt new ways of life, in short, new culture. Okay, so there, if you have questions, you know where to post your questions. So again, this is Media and Culture, and see you next week.